Welcome back to the channel Movie Creepers. Today, we're diving into Episode 7 of Invincible Season 3. Chaos erupts as Angstrom leads an army of evil multiversal invincibles into our world. Mark must face off against his brutal variants, all while grappling with loss and the weight of leadership. As the battle for Earth intensifies, Mark's greatest challenge isn't just defeating his enemies, it's finding the strength to move forward. Before we jump into the exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on future videos. Thank you. Let's begin.
I always hated you.
Plot explored. The episode starts with a flashback to Angstrom's past. Broken and battered, Angstrom is revived by the technicians, those mysterious beings who first put him back together. We learn that the months that followed have allowed him to regain his strength and start plotting his revenge. The lingering question here is, what exactly does Angstrom want? Well, it's not just revenge on Mark. This time, he's going after the multiversal variants of Invincible, recruiting them into his twisted ranks for a larger plan. The evil version of Invincible. There's something terrifying about seeing Mark's heroic visage twisted into something malevolent. But Angstrom's multiversal strategy is clear. If he can gather a team of versions of Mark from alternate realities, each of them fueled by unchecked power and brutality, he might be unstoppable. This dark army, however, isn't just a collection of alternate versions. It's an avalanche of destruction. These Marks have let their strength corrupt them, turning into monsters with no moral compass. They know they can do anything and face little to no consequences. They're a dangerous force, and as Angstrom opens portals between dimensions, they begin arriving in our world, each wreaking havoc in their wake. Things get real when these monstrous Marks start making their way to Earth, and we quickly realize how outmatched our heroes are. Cecil's immediate response is to assess the situation. There are 18 different versions of Invincible, each one more dangerous than the last. But here's the silver lining. The Mark variants may have their powers, but they're still not quite at the same level as the original. However, it doesn't take long to see how badly outmatched the heroes are. Mark's true strength has always set him apart, but now, with these other versions, he's facing more than just a battle of strength. It's a battle for the very soul of Earth. As the chaos spreads, we see Oliver, Mark's younger brother, wanting to join the fight. His eagerness to help is genuine, but Debbie, Mark's mom, warns him against it, cautioning that he should stay out of the house and avoid getting involved in the bloodshed. It's a tough moment for Oliver, who's clearly feeling the weight of the situation. He wants to be a hero like Mark, but the risk of doing so is enormous. Amid the chaos, we see Rex, one of the Guardians of the Globe, making a heartbreaking decision. He says his goodbyes to Shrinking Ray as the team prepares for a full-out assault on the invincible versions of Mark. Rex knows that the stakes are high, and when the battle reaches the Guardian HQ, he steps up to hold the line. He sacrifices himself in a desperate attempt to buy time for the others to escape. It's a tragic moment, and the explosion that follows seals Rex's fate. Shrinking Ray, devastated by the loss, realizes that Rex is gone. And this hits hard, not just for the team but for Mark too, who's devastated by the tragedy. His grief consumes him. Eve, who's also caught in the chaos, gets injured, and Mark is so overcome with sorrow that he chooses to stay by her side instead of continuing to fight. At the hospital, Mark sits next to Eve, watching her fight for her life. The city around them is in ruins, and it's clear that the invincible variants have left their mark on Earth, literally. Mark's emotional turmoil is palpable. His brother, his friends, and now his partner are all caught in the crossfire of the chaos. Even Cecil, who's been through so much, can't push Mark to fight when he's consumed by grief. For a brief moment, Mark feels the crushing weight of responsibility and loss, and it paralyzes him. Despite the hero's best efforts, the battle is an uphill one. Mark's variants, with their ruthlessness and power, overwhelm the defense. Within days, Earth is on its knees, teetering on the edge of total destruction. The casualty list continues to rise. And just when it seems like things couldn't get worse, Angstrom reappears, tasking his evil variants with capturing our Mark. The fight continues, but now it's not just about stopping the multiversal invincibles. It's about stopping Angstrom, who's pulling the strings from the shadows. In an epic confrontation, Mark faces off with Angstrom. Mark's seen this before. He knows Angstrom's tricks, especially the deadly portals that had nearly killed him before. This time, Mark is ready, and he uses that knowledge to his advantage. He battles through a swarm of flying robotic drones and confronts Angstrom directly. But Angstrom, ever the manipulator, seizes the moment of Mark's hesitation. He's almost able to escape, but not before losing his arm in the process. It's a reminder of just how dangerous Angstrom truly is, both a villain and a pawn. But Angstrom has a larger problem now. He made a deal with the technicians, the beings who fixed him, and Angstrom hasn't held up his end of the bargain. So now, the price has come due. Angstrom has no choice but to work for the technicians, making him a mere cog in their grand scheme. With the battle winding down, the aftermath is brutal. Rescue efforts are underway, but the damage is catastrophic. The death toll is in the hundreds of thousands, with the expectation that it will only continue to rise. Mark is there, helping with the recovery, though the weight of everything that's happened is too much to fully process. Cecil, ever the optimist, tells Mark that they'll rebuild. New heroes will rise, new teams will be formed, but Mark is the key. Despite his grief, Mark has to keep moving forward, not just for himself, but for the future of the world. And after some convincing, Mark finally joins the rescue efforts, where he sees Oliver out there working hard. It's a bittersweet moment. Oliver is still out there, still trying to be a hero, despite everything. But not everyone shares Mark's belief in the team. Powerplex, grief-stricken and full of anger, rants that this is all Invincible's fault. There's an undertone of guilt, something that all the heroes seem to be carrying. While Powerplex is taken away, drained of his powers, the others don't speak up. They know that while it wasn't Mark's fault, there's still a part of them that feels responsible for the catastrophe. Back at Guardian HQ, the situation is dire. Immortal, once the symbol of hope, decides it's time to take a different path. He wants to start a family with Kate, signaling the end of his fighting days. Darkwing is missing and presumed dead, while Monster Girl is in intensive care. The Guardians of the Globe are scattered and broken. Mark, despite everything, is the only one left who can lead them. But Mark refuses. He doesn't want the weight of leadership, not now, not in the middle of all the chaos. Cecil, ever the pragmatic strategist, reminds Mark that they're still on the same side. He offers his help, his advice, and his ear if Mark ever needs it. There's a crack in Mark's stoic exterior, and he finally admits his thanks to Cecil for his support. But right now, Mark has no interest in leading anything. He's focused on cleanup, and that's when Conquest arrives, setting the stage for yet another brutal fight. The final takeaway. In the end, Episode 7 of Invincible is a gut-wrenching journey through grief, sacrifice, and the consequences of unchecked power. Mark finds himself at a crossroads, caught between the weight of his losses and the responsibility that comes with being Earth's greatest hero. The battle may be over, but the war is far from finished, and Mark's true test is only just beginning. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Stay tuned for more thrilling narratives and insights.